Today's episode brings me to Loleta, California. I'm currently on the Hookton Road overpass, which leads to the highway behind me, Highway 101. Used in Halloween 3. You can see all those trees over there have grown a great deal since the film. We're going to go into Loleta and take a walking tour on foot. It is a beautiful Northern California morning. I am here on the Hookton Road overpass out here in Loleta, California. It's 42 degrees. You can see the sun hasn't even come out yet, but I'm out here early trying to get my shots before this. This is actually quite a busy overpass, believe it or not. And so had I not come early, I wouldn't be able to get these shots without a whole bunch of cars. I'm approaching the bridge that establishes the shot into Santa Mira, known to us Halloween 3 fans, or you see Hookton Road. That's the name of this overpass. So where that white car is, that is where Ellie and Dr. Chalice drive into town. And not much has changed here, except the advent of that middle barrier, which is right there in the middle section of the highway. And lots of trees have grown up in 40 years. You see that Halloween 3 exit sign right there is still there. We're going to begin our walking tour now in Loleta. I'm here at 1919 Loleta Drive. This is the building that Dr. Chalice and Ellie park in front of, and then they cross over. To locals of Loleta, this was the Loleta Cheese Factory. Also, since 1982, just like Halloween 3. And there is the factory from Halloween 3. A long time ago, there was a placard on this end of the building here, which said Halloween 3 starring Tom Atkins, where these holes are now. That is where the placard was and is now missing. Looks like somebody took it. So a number of things have worked against the factory to put it into this degenerative state. Mainly the fog that is constantly rolling into Loleta, the fact that it's in an earthquake area, and the fact that it's made out of brick are all factors that have led to its unfortunate demise. Watching the movie recently, it looked like there used to be an additional building that ran along here. And they very quickly showed the blue building that's back there, but it wasn't blue in the film. I believe it was like a tone of white building at that point. But it looks like they've recently and are continuing to upgrade that part of the factory. Looks like it's being worked on. Probably truthfully, the only part of the factory that will be able to be preserved would be that building over there. The only thing untouched from the recent earthquakes here. So if you look, and I'll try to get a shot of it, I don't know if I'll be successful, but a good chunk of that building over there also fell off. And we'll continue up the street here. Last time I was here, there was a chunk of that building laying in the middle of the loading dock area. Here's the part that's being renovated, and again, didn't have those lights on it, and it didn't have the blue color on it last year, so I'm assuming they're keeping that. All of this you can see over there, that whole wall's gone now. That whole wall came down since the last time. The windows knocked out. And I believe right in there is the final processing, or leads to the final processing area. See all the bricks there down on the bottom of the area leading up to the loading docks. That all came down recently. And I'll try to get a better shot of the top of that building, because a good chunk of that came down too. that building is, or if it's even associated with the factory. The sun might be a factor in me getting this shot, because the sun's going to be right in a glary spot with me trying to get that. Okay, well that's a good enough shot there. You can see what I'm talking about. And though it appears to be just a silhouette on the camera. So that was right around where they filmed the last 2/3 of the film was right in there. And that loading dock area where all the robots from the factory were, and all the little corners of the factory. Come off the road a little bit. From here you can see one of the silver shamrock trucks pulling out, and it goes up to the street there. We shot that from here. Again, much has changed in the 41 years since they filmed that. But at the same time, much has not changed in this town. The factory is no longer accessible due to this fence. Earthquake damage. So after this car comes by, we'll cross over. There is actually a scene filmed right around here where Dr. Chalice and Ellie cross over the street going into the factory. Last time I was here, I wasn't able to recreate that exact shot due to the fact that the fence is there now. The factory has seen better days. In fact, the first time I was here was 2008. Even back then, I'll insert a picture here of back then. It was in much finer shape than it is now. At one point, it looked like it could have been repairable. They had simply used a pressure washer on some of this and replaced the window tiles. So if this street looks familiar, it's because it was used in the film. Dr. Chalice and Ellie actually pull up to this right about to where that house is there. Their car stops. They look at the factory while they're coming up with a plan. This hasn't changed an entirely great amount on this part here. You can see mostly it's just the growth of the trees. The trees have become gigantic in 40 years versus the shot of the movie here where there is absolutely nothing in the middle. If you look down now, you can just see major growth. It's hard to tell exactly what used to be here in the film, but it does appear like there was some kind of wall or some kind of structure or building that was running parallel to the shops that are across the street in 1982. So while we have a quick minute here in between walking through town, I'll tell my Halloween 3 story. I, like many others, saw Halloween 3 for the first time on VHS. We actually rented it, and I made it up to the point where the guy in the car lights himself on fire and it explodes. And then, like the majority, I was like, what the hell is this? And I shut it off, and I would not revisit it for about a good 20 years. But now I've come to appreciate it much more as an adult than I did back when the first time I saw it. The road that this vehicle coming towards me is on is the road that Buddy Kupfer and family drove into town on at the Rose of Shannon Motel, which is coming up right here on the right. Just right here is what the robots from the factory come towards the end of the film. and walk into the Rose O'Shannon Motel. And then coming right along this road here, Cochran's car comes from this way and drives along this way, coming up the road. So you see where that tree is right there is where the Rose O'Shannon Motel sign used to be. So that there was the office, and then the hotel rooms were running along the side there. The gas station, Rafferty's Deluxe, was right over here. That building with the overhang with the two posts there. And we're going to take a full walk around the back. And many of the shots of Dr. Chalice and Ellie arriving in town are filmed right off of this road here. I'll document some of that tomorrow if I have the time. Otherwise, it has been previously documented in my other Halloween 3 locations video. And one last look at the road leading to the hotel and gas station before we head around back. This is the back side of the Rose O'Shannon Motel, where Dr. Chalice comes out of the window and heads down the street. So when he heads down this alley here, comes up to the house that we're approaching on the left. The house has been painted. It actually looks pretty new for an older home. But he crosses over to that, which is a now yellow house. This is the intersection where the robots from the factory drive by. Chalice hits the ground. But there is that house here at 613 Montgomery Street. We now see a Flanders RV here on the right. And Chalice turns the corner there to the left. He hides against the house here before crossing over to the house that we're going to go check out next. Which is right here on the corner of 578 Main Street. Is that Dr. Chalice or is that a robot from the factory? Looks more like a robot from the factory to me. And you can see not a whole lot has changed in this yard. The fence even, it remains the same from 41 years ago. So this is the neighborhood where that all took place. We're going to head just up the street here to the Gilded Rose Tavern, which we covered last time on our Halloween 3 locations. You see right across the street is where the phone booth was. Still all the little buddy dead bugs in the window. They haven't bothered to clean them out, but they did put a new for rent sign in the window. I wonder if they saw my video. Still just as many bugs though, that's gross. Good luck renting that without cleaning it up first. But this is the Gilded Rose Tavern as it appears in the movie. Right across the street from what used to be the phone booth over there. There go some robots from the factory again. So the Dublin Inn, no longer here. The phone booth, no longer here. That, you can't really tell in the film, but I believe there used to be a wall or a building that ran along there. If you look at the movie closely, you could see a wall or a building right there. Just as well, there used to be an alleyway along here at the end of the bush. And there goes little Buddy riding up the street. So right along here there was a cut through, which is right there, now boarded up. But a door used to be right here. You can line it up with the tip of that white building. The main difference with this whole area over here is the growth of all the trees. In the movie you can see clear across the street. There was no trees to block the view. 41 years later, trees are so big and so grown that you can't even see over there. The houses are blocked, and even the church used to be visible, but now blocked. The Bank of Loleta, which is now, which was Shamrock Savings in the film. Loleta Market, which was Shamrock Store movie. That's where Dr. Chalice went and got his six-pack for the night.
It's getting late. I could use a drink.
I'll show you how much this has grown. You used to be able to see from this building over here the reflection in the movie. You can see the reflection of the church, but the trees have grown over so much you can no longer see it. This is also the street here where this car is pulling off. The street that is filmed with Ellie and Dr. Chalice driving through, and you can see the factory in the background through there. They make a turn over here up the street. And all these train tracks, as many years as I've been coming here, since 2008. So for 15 years, I've been visiting these locations. And these train tracks, I've never seen be active. If we look that way, that's practically the end of town. And if we head this way, as they did in the car, so this is the corner of Church and Railroad, aptly named Church Street and Railroad. It makes sense. There's a church there. There's remnants of a railroad there. I believe you can actually see this and at least those three buildings up the street in the shot. This place, and especially that one, are evident in the film. So, this is what you see in the film. Filmed right here, where their car comes up and stops. They contemplate their plans to go to the Rosa Shannon Motel, poses a couple of buyers, and flips to this side. You can see the factory. We are right back where we started on our walk of Loleta. I'll bring you guys back in a little while. We'll actually go inside that Shamrock Market, see what's inside there. So it is now the evening here in Loleta. We're going to head over to this Loleta market and we're going to go inside. So the last time we visited Loleta, it was the summertime. And it was a Saturday night.
Slow down. It's getting late. I could use a drink.
And there were a lot more Dr. Chalices in town getting their drinks for the evening. This place was a huge happening hotspot. We couldn't believe it. There's a bench across the street we sat on, and we watched car after car after car pile in this place. I need to open up a liquor store in Loleta because it was a booming business. And there's Dr. Chalice right there. But it's now not summertime, it's now going to be the winter time, so we're here on a Saturday night again, and it appears to be much slower this time of year. I'm not sure what I'm going to get. We're going to have to look around. Okay, so now we're leaving. She picked up her drink, I picked myself up a Miller High Life. Going to head down the street here, back to our car. Hopefully not run into any homeless guys out here in Santa Mira looking for $1 or a drink.
I ain't got no disease. You mind if I have a drink? Ah, damn. If you haven't got $1 you can spare it, eh? Thank you.
This is going to conclude the Halloween 3 walking tour. I'm glad you guys have decided to join me here in Loleta. Until next time. And I'm going to make this a regular trip. This is an enjoyable trip. We get great food while we're here, and it's always fun to come visit. So until the next time I see you guys here back on the channel, I'm going to say so long, everybody.
And happy Halloween.
Alright you guys, well if you enjoyed the H45 series so far, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can also catch up with me on Instagram. I have 2 Instagram pages. I have the Ottoman Dad's Collectibles Instagram, which is right here, and then I have my personal Instagram, which you can follow me on, which is right here, the handle, My Halloween Life. So if you guys want to connect, we can connect there. Until next time, you guys, I will see you back with a lot of good Halloween stuff coming up, so stay tuned.